Welcome, everyone. I just wanted to make sure I'm here audible. Firstly, thanks for joining us. I couldn't really think of a better quote than this one by Satya, which is our Microsoft mission as well, in context to what we will be discussing today. As more and more customers are adopting Teams, it is the opportunity to leverage your existing solutions and services for Teams is becoming far more real and the need today. Hi, I'm Zaki, and my job is to enable our customers and partners to innovate using Teams and its platform capabilities. First, let's look at what Teams is all about. Workstream collaboration today is just not about how you converse and how you get things done. It is built upon three fundamental pillars, and Teams is positioned as the hub for teamwork within Office 365. The first pillar is ability to communicate real time and ad hoc using chat and calling and video capabilities. The second is more about how do you collaborate around knowledge within Office 365, ability to co-author, ability to provide feedback upon. And the third most important pillar for what we are here today to talk about is how do you enable services and experiences outside Office 365, and how do you bring them into Teams to get things done? And more importantly, how do you do it with a sense of confidence? Within Office 365, Teams is part of the subscription itself, and as part of that service, it is essential for our enterprise customers to be able to manage how and what and where things are being discussed and worked upon. Features like e-discovery and audit trail provides that sense of confidence. Today, Teams is the fastest business app in terms of growth within Microsoft history. We have over 180 million active users for Office 365 today. We have over 500,000 plus organizations using Teams today in one way or other. And more importantly, about 91% of Fortune 100 companies are already using Teams. As I mentioned earlier, platform within Teams allows developers like us to bring services and data within Teams for users to collaborate around, for users to take actions upon, for users to provide feedback upon. Now, an app for Teams could be a combination of these capabilities and an or, basically. So you could either build one capability and ship it as an app, or you could combine different capabilities together and then ship it as an app for Teams. These apps can exist in different forms for the user. They are available as a team app, which means different set of users in Teams could use it together. It's visible to every person in that team. It could be made available in a discrete chat, which means I should be able to chat with the bot discreetly for more personal experiences. And what's coming and what you can try today in our developer preview rings is the ability to light up apps in group chat context. What group chat is, discrete group of people. They're not part of a team and a channel. They are individuals who are discretely working on something together or chatting or having a conversation together about. So you could light up apps in that context as well. And what's also available in Dev Preview today is ability to light up apps in context of meetings. The first pillar that we talked about where users can communicate together. So if there's a Skype Teams call kicked off, you want to show up an app in the screen sharing context, then yes, you can light up apps in that context as well. More importantly, as we talked about capabilities and scope, how do you make this available? If you're an ISV today, you can build an app and publish it for our public store. Or if you're a corporate developer, you should be able to build apps and publish it only for your company or for your organization using the private app catalog. And doing that all with sense of confidence again. So today you should be able to manage granular app policies, at least to start with is the setup policy, which means how do you surface apps for certain users within Teams itself. And what's coming soon is the granular permission policies, like who gets to access what app and who is it blocked for, and so forth. Today, we have over 280 plus apps available for Teams. What that means is if you're a power user of Teams, then you should be able to configure services within Teams basis these apps and enable custom scenarios relevant for your organization and for your team. Now, what does it mean when we're trying to bring it all together? You know, people, knowledge, services, when they come together, you get this connected experience, and Teams is the front end to land that connected experience. As developers, the greater opportunities, the massive adoption momentum that Teams has with its customers, more and more customers are lighting up. As I mentioned, 91% of our Fortune 100 companies are using Teams. As you light up Teams in apps, you're actually reaching where users are today are going to be tomorrow, where they're getting things done, where they're talking about getting things done. And in that context, once you light up apps, the scenarios become more and more powerful. And doing that seamlessly in terms of identity management is also critical. The ability for your apps to leverage single sign-on experience using Azure AD, and for tenant admins or IT pro community to be able to manage apps access using Azure AD is far more powerful. And the crux of today's conversation is about how do you leverage your existing solutions and services, stuff that you have already built and you're managing it today, how do you light it up in Teams? For purpose of this presentation, we're going to talk about a fictitious organization. This is Contoso Manufacturing. Contoso Manufacturing is in the bottling business, and as a manufacturing company, they are also an Office 365 customer. They have adopted all workloads within Office 365, such like SharePoint, Power BI, Power Apps, and Flow, and they're also heavy on Azure for connected factory experiences. Now, there are three kinds of apps that are today available for Contoso, for employees at Contoso. First is something called RAID log. What RAID stands for is risk, issues, actions, and dependency. And for each line in the manufacturing business, that is a production line, they need to manage this. So every time a line operator changes shift, let's say I come in at 5 p.m. and there's a second shift starting at 5 a.m., if it's a 12-hour shift, I need to let the next line operator know, hey, what basis today's execution, what are the issues we had that we need to get fixed or that you should be aware of? What are the follow-ups that you need to do, maybe supply or stock or anything that you need to work internally on? And what are the dependencies that we have, like your production line will have dependency on the stock supply and so forth. And more importantly, were there any escalations? So is there an issue? If that issue has an escalation, which means that has stopped the production line from producing what it needs to produce, then that is all today managed as a RAID log using SharePoint, Azure Logics, apps, and Power BI. We'll in coming slides, we'll look what that means. Then also for the line operator, what Contoso has done is they have built a bot, a Q&A kind of a bot that allows line operators to ask operational queries like, hey, how do I do this with the machine? There seems to be an issue. How do I resolve this issue? So all the reactive queries that needs to be addressed. One way is I could walkie-talkie at Contoso plant and ask some people, hey, can you help me with this issue? Or I could go to a terminal and ask that question to the bot, and basis the knowledge repository, it can respond me back saying, hey, here are a few possible ways you could resolve this issue and track the responses of that issue. And lastly, just like any organization, Contoso has built and enabled employee experience portal, which means anything related to managing leave requests, to filing service tickets, to understanding what's my leave balance, to knowing what's the news around Contoso Manufacturing. All that today is managed using SharePoint sites and Hub. And also as part of, they have enabled service apps, that is for features like service desk management and for features like leave request management for first-line workers. They have leveraged Power Apps and Flow, and they have enabled these experiences on mobile for the first-line workers. Now, first-line workers in this context could also be a line operator. These are people on the last mile of execution who are not part of the, let's say, who do not have an assigned device, who do not have an Outlook email inbox, and so forth. So the RAID log management today is a fragmented experience. What they're doing today is using SharePoint lists, which is one of the most powerful features within SharePoint. It can hold up to 1 million records, and you could do workflow execution on top of those records managed. It's a structured data management system, a lightweight structured data management system, and then you can do all powerful workflows on top of it. They're using SharePoint list in that context. And then for anything and everything, like basis, because it's an extended system, right? It's sitting in SharePoint list. They still have their business systems behind the scenes. Let's say they're tracking all their issues and escalations using systems, business systems like EPAMs and so forth. In that context, all the integration work is done by Azure Logic. Now, Azure Logic apps allow customers to build custom jobs based on certain triggers and periodic timers. They're able to pull data, integrate it bidirectionally. Now, that is all great, but then all that data, once that comes into a central business system, they've built a Power BI layer on top of it that allows them to assess and manage the data insights. So what you're looking here is at a Power BI report that Contoso is using, the line operators are using to understand supplier quality analysis. Basis the supply material that is coming from different suppliers, how is it impacting the production line and productivity across that production line? Now, what would this look like in Teams if it was to be enabled? Using all that existing investment, how can you light up a collaborative experience? What you're seeing here is Contoso Seattle plant having a team in Teams. They have created channels for each production line. Anything with a gear icon is a general channel, which means operation teams is using that channel to manage day-to-day plant operations. Procurement is responsible for managing within that channel day-to-day conversations around supply and demand. Safety is there for people to raise any safety-related and health-related or environmental-related concerns and converse about it. And there's a tech support channel as well, which is allowing the IT professionals within the organization at Contoso Seattle to track what are the open IT issues across the plant. Now, once you start looking at line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4, they have these color indicators next to the production line, right? The channel name is defined in such a way they have an indicator saying what's the status of that production line. Without even me jumping into that channel and understanding what's going on, I can say the red across production line 3 means that line has stopped and the production is halted because of some escalation. It could be systems issue, it could be supply issue, it could be anything on the floor because of which that's the status set. And anything that's blue is functioning normal. Anything that is white as an indicator means those production lines are intentionally not operated. Based on demand, they have to scale their production lines. So today, they're only operating on, in reality, only 2 production lines and not the third, which is supposed to be operating, but it isn't. So the same supply Power BI report that we saw earlier, which was a standalone Power BI was published in a standalone Power BI workspace, now can be brought into Teams, and within the operations channel, I can track it. Now, I don't need to go. One of the challenges for the first-line workers in manufacturing industry is How do I find data? How quickly can I access that data? So now right within Teams channel, they're able to do this. They're able to have a conversation around that report as well. If I see something not trending as expected, then I can quickly jump on to make sure this is addressed. And using Azure Logic Apps, now this is an extension of what they have already done. They're using Azure Logic Apps to integrate data from SharePoint list to back to their business systems. But what they're doing uniquely over here is they've extended one of their workflows, the logics, to update the channel name. So anytime there is an escalation raised in any channel, whether it is production line number 4 or 3 or 2 or 1 or 5, this Azure Logic job would every 5 minutes check for the status. If there are no escalations, it will keep the indicator up to date. So if for reason, let's say in production line 5, and line operator goes and files an escalation, an issue, then the Azure Logic Apps is able to update the channel name, put the right indicator beside it, and it is doing all that using Graph API. So the Graph API is what has been leveraged over here. Now, Graph API is a gateway for data that's sitting within Office 365, within Windows, and within EMS. So it's a single point gateway for anything and everything under Microsoft 365 that it supports. So using the Graph API for Teams specifically, so if you're exploring Graph API, you would see that for each product and for each entity type within Office 365, it has this CRUD operations available for you. Now, what you could do is for Teams, for channel specific, the subset API channel specific, you could just update it. All it's doing is, if you look at the body, it's just saying, hey, display name, change it to this against what is the channel name, right? So that's the way periodically the Azure Logic Apps are just going ahead and updating the jobs behind the scene. What Contoso also did was it created a line operator support bot. This is basically the Q&A bot that we were talking about. It just allows users to quickly ask queries, and it responds back with probable or highly scored recommendations. So it's using Q&A Maker service behind the scenes. You bases the confidence score, it picks the best result, and it returns it to the line operator saying, hey, probably these are the things that you can try and see if it resolves your issue or your concern. Now, it's also using LUIS behind the scenes. It's the intent action mapping model that you can build and operate using the LUIS service within Azure. So that allows you to do something like natural language processing. So if I would say, hey, widget maker isn't working. Now, it's a natural statement. It's a plain English statement. But how do you really parse it to say which is the entity in it, what is the intent, and what is the recommended action that needs to be proposed? So LUIS does that job. Now, the bot was built using bot framework. So today, over 10 plus channels are supported using bot framework. And Contoso built the bot for Skype for Business only. And they also enabled it on the direct line. What that means is if an employee goes into their internal portals, they should be able to chat with the bot. But if you see, it's a discrete chat. It's a 101 chat. And it's only between the line operator and the service. And the challenge with this is, let's say if me and my colleague, who is also a line operator, he is interested to know what was the recommendation. There is no way for him to figure that out until he tries the bot on his own. He has to go have that same conversation with the bot, and probably we are going to find the same responses. What if you could bring that bot into Teams? Because it was built using bot framework, you could enable Teams as a channel endpoint in it with just that and few extensions taken care. You should be able to bring that team bot, which was discrete bot, as a channel bot now. It's a team bot, which means whatever conversation Grady had with the bot, Megan is able to look at the bot and say, hey, this seems to be a recurring issue. Why don't we document or update our training content, right? So that is more visible now. It's just opening up discrete silo experiences into more collaborative experiences where people can provide feedback upon. And what Contoso was able to do was it just took the same bot, enabled the channel, optimize the experience basis what's recommended for teams, and more importantly, they started leveraging adaptive cards. So if you're building a bot that's leveraging adaptive cards, it's a schema. It's a schema, it's a JSON-based schema that allows you to control representation as well as the entity model within that schema. What it means plainly is if you built a card using adaptive card schema, then you should be able to leverage it in Teams, you should be able to leverage it in Skype for Business. It appears Cortana also supports the same schema. Windows Toast notifications can also support the same schema. So you could push the same representation, same schema across different channels and repurpose. That's one way of repurposing your card interfaces. Let's move on. So now the company portal, this is the employee engagement experience that Contoso has for every person within the organization. Now they have built this using SharePoint Online. It's a hub, a collection of sites, and more importantly, as part of that sites, they're using SharePoint framework web parts, right? So if you see the first section, it's a web part. Now, if you're building web parts with version 1.7 onwards, you should be able to build one time and reuse it even in Teams. So what we're going to see next is the same experience is now extensible to Teams as well. The benefit you get here is if you have built a web part, a custom web part for SharePoint Online, and it's using version 1.7 onwards, then what you're able to do is the web part not only renders in Team, but it also inherits the context from Teams, like who's the user, which team and channel is it part of. All that context is shareable. You don't write code to make that happen. It's built out of the box, and more importantly, it's single sign-on, which means if you build a web part and you're embedding it into Teams, like you're enabling it in Teams, the user doesn't need to authenticate with the web part anymore. It's a seamless single sign-on using AAD. And what you're also seeing here is the same employee experience, the consolidation of different components across Contoso for its employees is now put in one place, and within the app bar left rail, you're able to see it as pre-pinned icon. So in the app bar left rail, you can see activity, chat, Teams, calendar, files. This is something what we call as core apps. And what you're seeing next is Contoso Portal, a custom app that's been built and pre-pinned on the left rail. What this does is every time people open up Teams, users open up Teams in their organization, at Contoso, they're going to see that portal pre-pinned for them. And tenant admins can control who the pre-pinning can happen. They can declare it at global policy level, that is entire organization it's made available, or only for selected users. So you build an app, and you can have your IT pre-pin it in Teams for different users or across the organization. So with that, the IT tech support, which is like a service app for first-line workers, what Contoso has done is it has built that experience using Power Apps. No-code, low-code solution. They went ahead, built a lightweight experience that integrates using Flow with various systems behind the scenes. They're able to push it back to their service desk management. And once the ticket is submitted, it's also routing it to the right service level manager. So if it's a high priority ticket with high severity, then it goes to the P0 engineer or service level manager, which means they have a specialized team who is focused on those issues. Their job is to make sure in a certain time frame they resolve those issues. But if it's a low priority or a medium priority, they can route it to a different team. Now, they're using Flow for all of this routing. So they're collecting the data from Power Apps. Every time a service ticket is submitted, they're able to pull that data and then route it back to different service level managers. Today, the workflow is they're routing it and they're sending that through email. So they're able to in Flow, they're able to create a job which is capturing all the ticket level details, and it's informing that relevant service level manager saying, here are the a new ticket that's been submitted, and they can take actions upon it. But like what we saw earlier, the Contoso portal, which was a personal app that was pre-pinned in the left bar, the tech support is also now enabled. So you could combine SharePoint sites, and you could combine a Power App, and you could decide how many tabs. So what you're looking at is a tab experience in Teams, and this is a Power Apps tab. So you could embed that experience within a single app package. And what it's doing is every time a new ticket gets submitted, same job that was returned to route using email as a delivery mechanism at the last mile is now extending the same job to deliver it to Teams. What it's doing is, in practicality, is it's taking the same job, you're not rewriting any bits of it, you're adding extra components to make sure it even reaches to right people in the Teams itself. Now what that means is, in the tech support channel for Contoso Seattle, it's publishing those tickets as a channel. So now people can have conversation. I, as a service manager, service level manager, I can assign that ticket to anyone within my team, within my support team, and they can start working on it. So I don't have to go into my inbox anymore. I don't have to go into my service desk management solution, and it is all happening within the channel. And that is an adaptive card with actionable messages. So you have inline actions that you can combine with the representation. So you're not only controlling the schema, how it looks, you're not controlling what will show up in it, what metadata will show up, but you're also saying, basis the context, basis the information you're sharing, what actions can be tagged along. In this case, because it's a new ticket, the job I have written says you need the service line managers can assign tickets now, or they can set due dates if needed. At this point, I would like to invite Dr. Kellermann from UNSW to talk about how they are leveraging their existing solutions to drive digital transformation in the classrooms. Over to you.
All right, thank you for the introduction, and thanks everyone for coming. I am David Kellermann from UNSW Sydney. We're a big university in Australia. We have about 70,000 students, and that means as an organisation we're close to 100,000 Office 365 seats. As an institution, we're a multi-billion-dollar revenue company, but we are of course a teaching institution as well, and so our students are our customers. I'm from the engineering faculty. We have 17,000 students, and I actually teach really large classes in engineering. So my first year engineering course is about 600 students. My second year engineering course is about the same. And so essentially, I'm the manager of a huge number of people. And within the delivery of an engineering subject, we have video, we have digital ink from all of the problems we've done together, lab results with Excel spreadsheets, we have Word documents, PowerPoint. We've got a whole series of different resources, assignment, submission, collaborative spaces, forums, and different things that we're using essentially to work together as a huge team of 600 people. And a lot of these resources are across Office 365. So the question is, and the theme of today, is about how you can use Teams as a front end and how you can use App Framework and Bot Framework to leverage all of these resources. So there's a lot of things I could talk about today, but I'm just going to talk about one thing, which is that about an app and a bot that I built for my course on Teams Bot Framework. And I'm going to show you just here a few of my general principles of bot design. And these are the classic ones, which should sound familiar. Is built to automate previously human tasks. Sounds great. Replace human interactions. Use relevant training sets, knowledge bases. Has its own set of valuable digital assets. Has polite endpoints at the limits of its AI. one-on-one bot interactions, as we just saw, and an entry point that's quite direct, such as selecting to go into the chat UI or physically calling out a virtual assistant, which is just a bot with a voice, basically. Now, there are a few different chatbots in education that you might be familiar with. For example, there's one built by Microsoft called SIG. There's one based on Watson at Deakin University in Australia that's had a lot of press called Genie. There's also another one at Georgia Tech called Jill Watson, which was part of a recent TED Talk, as I remember. But I have a different approach to bots, and I want to show you how I've done this in Microsoft Teams using Graph API, and I take a different approach to all of these things. So for example, I like my bot to do things that humans can't practically do rather than replace their tasks. I want my bot to connect humans, not replace human interactions. I don't want to give it its training set. I want it to build its own knowledge base. I don't want to give it fixed digital assets. I want it to surface the assets that I already have within my system and within my team. And I want my users to never reach the endpoints of the AI, never sense the frustration. I want the bot to be part of a human interaction, not an alternative to it. And I want the entry point to be less than 0. So I'm going to show you how I do that with my bot called Question and how it is built on top of Teams. So at the back end, of course, we're using Graph API, Azure Cognitive Services. The bot service itself is running on Azure. And we're using a wide range of different frameworks across Office 365, such as natural language processing, Q&A Maker, SQL databases. At the front end, this is what one of my courses looks like. And my students, instead of discussing things on a forum, I use Teams as the forum instead. And of course, what that does is it brings all of the discussion in front of all of the resources that we're using within a collaborative environment rather than an individualistic environment. And you can see here the idea of Question Bot is when you ask a question, like you say, hey, I've got a question about this. Instead, you write, I have an question about this, and you tag it. And because it autofills the rest of the word question, it's actually easier to tag question than to type the word question. And that's what I mean when I say a less than 0 entry point. So what happens next with the bot is if somebody does ask a question, it's essentially flagged as a to-do list. So if you think about things like service tickets, I treat my student questions as service tickets. It's something that needs to be answered. And it's really important because when you have 600 students, the Teams channel is like a fire hose. You could ask a question and an hour later it's, a meter up the screen. And so when that question does finally get answered, the way that that service ticket is closed is by selecting what the answer is. Now, it is not just a bot, it is an app that we've actually built and we've deployed on our own internal app service. And so anyone within our tenant can essentially just go to the Teams store and they can install the app. And once you have the app, you can also install the bot as a tab. And what it does, of course, is it turns all of the questions and the answers that have occurred into the chat into a quick reference Q&A page. And these are individually filtered by channel, and each channel is to do with an individual topic. And so as a study resource, students can quickly jump over to this tab and they can check out different questions and answers that have been filtered down. And if they want, they can click to view it and they can jump back into the thread. And what this does is it re-engages people with valuable conversation that's happened. And so the idea, of course, is we're leveraging assets. Conversation is assets. And just like Zaki showed us before, that one-on-one bot interaction that happened before, when you bring it into Teams, everybody can see that asset. And this is going another step again. Now, of course, my policy is if it doesn't work on mobile, it doesn't work. And I just, of course, want to show you that all of these services render beautifully within that framework on mobile. And these are just screenshots from Android. Of course, you can do one-on-one chat. That's to be expected if you want to ask straightforward questions. And the app itself has a landing page. It's sort of a dashboard where you can go check on your own questions, but my TAs and my tutors can jump in and they get a list of all of the students that they are individually responsible for, and filtered down to unanswered questions, and that's a to-do list. So that's actually how I'm managing the workload of my 16 TAs that I have. Now, you might be thinking, okay, so you have question and answer pairs, which are logged on an SQL database, that are filtered by channel topic, which are within a course structure. And it sounds like a lot of great information. In fact, I just took this snapshot after my bot had been in the course for 2 weeks. That's how many question and answer pairs I'd captured. That's just 2 weeks. And what do? We write it all to a Q&A knowledge base, which is another service on Azure and is part of Graph API. And the bot does all of this automatically as part of an app service on the bot framework. And of course, it trains itself. So this is an AI that actually learns itself. You don't have to pre-train it like you do with other bots like Watson and so on. And you set a threshold for how rigorous or how aggressive you want the bot to answer. And sure enough, after a couple of weeks, my bot started occasionally answering questions on its own. So complex questions that my students were asking, if a colleague of theirs had asked it maybe a couple of weeks ago and it was buried somewhere down in the forum, instantaneously the bot will return that answer again. And so you can see how that conversation that has gone on with teams, again, is an asset. It's something that we can leverage and we can improve everybody's experience. Now, courses are parts of degrees, and degrees have prerequisites. And before you do Engineering 101, you have to do Physics 101. And before you do Physics 101, you have to do Maths 101. And by the time you get to the end of a 4-year degree, that's all 8 semesters, you could see if I chose a single subject there on the right, that it's actually got a pyramid of subjects below it. And so what we can do with that knowledge base is we can automatically make a bot in a 4th-year course inherit a tree of knowledge bases underneath it. And in fact, this gives the bot a huge amount of intelligence and it gives it contextual knowledge. Now, the bot has some other tricks because it's really interesting that you notice that often in engineering, because we do so much calculation, that students will just take a photo of the work they're doing. And if a student asks a question like, hey, I'm stuck on this, can anybody help me? That's not useful to add to a knowledge base because all of the context is within the photograph. But the bot framework has got attachment APIs, Azure has cognitive vision services, and what I started doing was I put QR codes onto all of the material to do with my course, assignments, questions, everything. And whenever a student takes a photograph of it, the bot is able to read that QR code in the top right, and the bot replies straight away, and it says, hey, I think you're working on question 4.1. And that allows it to directly address the particular content, and it allows it to log the information involved with that question-answer interaction that occurs. And of course, if it's hard to see the attachment, we can just click, oh, I'd like to see the problem there in more detail, and possibly we've got some options there, like show me the numerical solution, and you can see there we've got the numerical solution. We just want to quickly check whether we're right or not. And there are other functions like on the left there, we could watch the video solution. On the right, we could ask the bot to send us a hint personally and not muddy up the waters of the general channel. If I ask a question, again, about leveraging all of the data we have lecture recordings. And those lecture recordings occur on Office 365 Stream. You can use other video services, of course. And just like we're seeing up the top there right now, there is a transcript that is automatically generated on those lectures. And that's another asset. And so the bot is able to search against the transcript of the lecture. And if a student asks a question like, does anybody know what inertial bodies are, or perhaps something about Newton's second law, the bot will search the transcript. And if it thinks that it's got an answer within the video, it will return a time-stamped video link directly in the forum. And we can overlay that straight over Teams using task modules, which is a new feature on bot framework that you should check out. Close it, and we're straight back into the context. So you've just asked a question to your peers, and the bot's come back and said, hey, the answer was in last week's lecture at 1 hour, 5 minutes, and 34 seconds. Press play. I mean, what a great way to leverage existing assets that we have within this framework. So let's go back to my idea about how to successfully make a bot. I think you'll see on the right that we've checked all of our fairly ambitious approaches there to bot framework, and they are really different to this traditional idea of how we combine things. And the reason I think that's possible is because of bot framework sitting on top of Teams, because of Teams being connected to Graph API, and because of Graph API connecting to Azure Cognitive Services. This is an entire ecosystem that allows us to leverage way beyond just documents and flowcharts and dashboards. So that's my bot, and what I really want to summarize about it here is that we built and developed this bot from scratch in 8 weeks. One person, 8 weeks, built, deployed. 95% of my students tagged this bot voluntarily. And what Teams has allowed us to do is bring together and leverage all of these different services. So, you know, when you are all looking at your own systems, I want to ask you, are you unifying everything? Are you leveraging everything? Are you putting everything into a single ecosystem? And that's what Zaki really showed us early on with the Contoso example. So thanks everyone for listening. I'll hand it back to Zaki, but if you want to ask me a question, I'll be around afterwards. Thank you.
Thank you. So now let's look at what's new in platform. There are a couple of announcements yesterday, and you're going to hear more tomorrow. So I'm just going to give you what's in between from platform capabilities perspective and why it is important in today's context. Firstly, anytime we think of enabling custom experiences and even pre-built experiences that ship as part of our app store that's enabled there, it becomes essential as developers to know how you can light it up in Teams. Now, for a very long time, our app policy has been very binary. What that means is if you're in Office 365 and if you have Teams enabled, today you can only enable apps or a certain app, whether it is built by Microsoft or built by our partners, very one for all or none for all. So it's very binary, which means you can only flip it at tenant level. So if I want to enable an app like Trello and using current controls, I could just go ahead and switch it on, but it will enable Trello for entire organization. The challenge with that, we have heard our customers share feedback, is Office 365 customers are distributed across different geographies, big or small. They have different management needs. They have their own internal IT policies that they have to adhere to. So if you're a developer building an app for Teams or repurposing your existing solution for Teams, it becomes important to understand how you can align with these policies that we are rolling out. First is something what we call app setup policies, both in Dr. Kellermann's demo and as well as when I was talking through the slide click-throughs. You would have seen in the app bar, the left app bar, there's always your app icon pre-pinned. Now, that's a discoverability feature, so you could allow certain users or your entire organization to discover the app and start using it. So every time a new user discovers that app icon, they click on it, there's a silent install that happens, and they're ready to go start using it. So that's what we call as setup policies. You can define as many setup policies. Here's a combination. So here is a global app setup policy that's set up. It has the core apps. It has the Contoso portal pinned on the 7th position, and that's enabled for entire organization. But then let's say I just want to enable a policy for only line operators. They have these custom scenarios. They have special needs. There are certain apps we have only built for the line operator persona. Then I can work with the IT admin at Contoso or our customers organization and say, hey, this is the security group or that needs access to this particular app only, and position it at this, pin it at this particular position. So that is what app setup policies allows you to do. Either you declare something globally, or you could declare it for certain set of users. The next one is permission policies. What setup policy solves is the discoverability problem. What permission policies allows you to is solve the access problem. Now, let's go back to the same example. Trello needs to be enabled within Teams, and what I want to do is I want to only enable it for certain users in Australia because their business unit has a paid subscription with Trello. So you could then figure out the security group associated to that organization and say only these users are allowed to access Trello within the Office 365 tenant. Now that's for a store app, but it's also relevant to your line operator experiences as well. So if you built a specialized app for certain persona, you could really control that experience using the permission policies. This is coming soon, and the next set of policy is something called side-loading policy. Now, today if you're building for teams, one of the key things is let's say you built an app, which is a set of capabilities. Now you want to load that package and test it somewhere. The obvious route is you go to Office 365 developer program, you sign up for the developer tenant, you get a 1-year trial developer tenant with 25 seats, and you can test your app within the tenant. But what if you want to enable that app in your production tenant, and you want to test it with the production APIs? Now, anytime you will approach your IT saying, hey, I have a developer tenant, which I signed up. It's on its own Azure AD, and I want to access from their production APIs, InfoSec is going to give you a no. No, that's not right. And rightfully, that's not right, because it's a matter of security, because once you get access to those production APIs, you have access to Office 365 and so forth. So a lot of the InfoSec folks and IT Pro community at our customers gave us this feedback, hey, allow only certain users, especially who are developers, LOB developers within our organization, to be able to sideload. So what sideload does is you could take an app package, go into your team, and upload that package and test the app, even before you publish it to your company store, or even you make it available for the entire organization or a set of users in the organization. So it's an intermediary path that developers use for testing app packages within production environment, and side-loading policies will allow tenant admins, Office 365 tenant admins, or Teams tenant admin to be able to manage that. Who gets the right to upload packages and test it? Now that's in context of developer scenario, but it's also relevant from a production scenario, which is if I don't want to publish the app onto our public store catalog, and as a developer, I have decided I don't want even to publish it on our company app store. It's only meant for some discrete users. We don't want to, for business reasons, we don't want it to be visible in our app store, but only for certain set of users in a special team. Let's say in this context, in our example, Contoso Seattle, only for Contoso Seattle, a Seattle-specific, something very personalized or localized experience that we want to enable for the employees of Contoso Seattle, then I can sideload that package in the team and just make it available for all users who have access to that team. So that's another way to light up apps as well. Another thing that we have talked about at Build this week is app templates. What if you could take pre-built apps for which the code is published and enable it in your Office 365 tenants, custom scenarios? It's like white labeling the source code. You could name it what you want, you could describe it the way you want. It should be they are plug and play from day one. That means you could single click deploy, you run a PowerShell script, or you run a one-click Azure deploy button, and what it's gonna do is it's gonna take the code from GitHub, it's gonna deploy it on Azure, it's gonna provision it in Office 365, it's gonna provision it in Teams, all using a single click solution. Now, what also it offers is the ability to customize the code. Because the code is published, it's open sourced, it's on GitHub, you're able to take those scenarios and say, hey, maybe in this context, if we take list search allows you to search SharePoint lists, content, and so forth. what if I don't want to search a SharePoint list? What if I want to search a particular database or a particular structured data repository? Then you could take the same code, customize it, change certain class adapters, and you will be able to make it working with your own data sources. So that's the value prop for app templates in general. Now, as of today, we are making custom stickers available, which is if you're in Asia, and if you're in the markets like Japan or Thailand or Indonesia, custom stickers are a big hit. People love to, have their own stickers shared with their colleagues and so forth, not just in social context, but also in work context. So there has been a demand, so app templates serves that need. So you could take the custom sticker template code base, and you could add your own sticker repository and make it enabled in your tenant. We are also enabling something called Icebreaker. Icebreaker is about, it allows people in your work environment to connect basis interest. So if I'm interested to build solutions for teams, and if I have opt-in with the bot, and a fellow colleague of mine within the organization has also opted in, and he and I have never connected. So the bot will introduce us, bases our interest, and lets us figure out when to connect, looks at our calendar and says, hey, here are the probable times that you're both available and you want to probably catch up for coffee or lunch. So those are the things that we have started to show up today in Teams, for Teams, and you could go to aka.ms/Teams app templates, and you could explore this app template code repositories. Quickly, let me just show you, do the demo for the permission policies and setup policies, what it looks like and what it means. Let's just wait, hope the demo gods. So while I have my Teams client loading up, what we're seeing is we're going to see the whole Contoso experience that we saw, and what does it mean from a policy standpoint of view, what does it mean from a custom sticker standpoint of view, and just go ahead and then experience that. Let's just wait for if the Wi-Fi. Just going to give it a few more seconds. At this point, I'll call off and then switch back to the presentation mode. The Wi-Fi, it's too slow, and it's just not connecting back. So we talked about app templates. What I'm going to do is, right after this session, we're going to be on the build page itself, you'll find links, not just to this presentation, but also links to the demo bits. We'll have the video recordings made available there. So you could, whatever we discuss in context of Contoso, in context of features that we are making available, you should be able to check out the demo videos as well. If you're, so Graph is, as we talked about, right, it's a single gateway for the entities living in Office 365, EMS, and Windows. Today, you could do a lot of the provisioning stuff using Graph. So let's say I want to create a team based on some logic in my business system. I want to spin up a team with predefined channels and predefined content, and maybe even attach apps to it. You could do that with Graph as of today. And also, what has been available is the ability, let's say you want to pull data from a particular channel. You want to pull up the threads, the conversation threads that are there in a Teams channel for machine learning purpose or for some audit purpose. You could do that with Graph as well. You require admin consent. So there's a application, user level, application level, and tenant level consents that exist for Graph. You just have to see which permission, which endpoint require what kind of consent. Is it delegated consent or is it an application consent? That you can do that today. What's coming is, today you could have just pulled content from the threads from a particular channel, but you're now able to do that is also in a beta mode, is try out to pull like one-on-one conversations. So if I had a chat with my colleague, I would be able to, the bot or the app that you're building would be able to pull up that conversation and persist it. Now, this could be for compliance reasons, it could be for various other reasons. You could do that with Graph today. You could also post replies to messages. There was an individual gentleman over here who just approached me while I was waiting for Dr. Kellermann to present, who asked me this question is, hey, what if I want to pull up and update the thread, whether it is in channel or is it in one-on-one chat? You could do that with Graph today. The second part, especially the discrete part, is in beta though. And what's also possible is we haven't touched upon shifts. So Contoso line operator, first line worker. Line operator is a first line worker persona. They have only access to mobile devices. They don't have an inbox. And they work on wages and they work on shifts. So in Teams, you should be able to manage shifts using the Shifts app itself. But more importantly, using Graph, you should be able to manage or pragmatically, let's say if I was swapping a shift with my colleague, the bot could help me do that. I could figure out who is ready to take my shift at 6 p.m. tomorrow because I'm not going to be making it. There would be someone interested to say, hey, I'm ready to take up your swap, and we swap it. And what the Graph could do behind the scene is the bot could do is it would spin up a call and update the shifts on the Shifts app within Teams. So that's on the Graph side of things. Yesterday, a colleague of mine, Larry, had spoken about platform capabilities, what all we have announced, like message actions and so forth. If you haven't had a chance to look at it or attend it, I would recommend checking out the video on the Build website. Today we are talking about how you can repurpose solutions. Tomorrow, another colleague of mine, Nick Kramer, is going to be talking about Graph, like he's going to be doing a deep dive on Graph, what's possible today, what's coming, and help you understand what scenarios you could leverage it for. So please do check out, and also at our Teams booth on the expo floor, we have a bunch of sneak peek and theater sessions going on. So we have customers coming in talking about how are they building apps using existing services, or they're enabling new experiences. We have partners coming over there and talking about how they have built apps for Teams and what they're planning to do next. So please join us and take time to meet us, and I'm happy to field any questions over there as well. I'll be there tomorrow. And now that you've seen what's the art of possibility, like what all you can do, basis building something new versus repurposing existing services, I would recommend highly to check out these links. You can engage with us on our community platforms. We'll help you answer your questions. There's enough documentation available. And with that, now that you know what is possible, what's the art of possibility, I'm really looking forward to see what you can do to drive digital transformation for your own customers. Thank you.